Alexander Schmemann, December 1983. Protopresbyter, Dean of St. Vladimir Seminary, died of cancer. John Mengendorf, July 1992. Archpriest, Schmemann's successor as dean, died of cancer. Gleb Kaleta, November 1994. Archpriest, scientist, and Dvorkin supervisor after his return to Russia, died of cancer. Now, I'd like you to pay close attention to one specific detail here. All three of them died of cancer. I'll be breaking this section down in much greater detail later on, but for now, it's crucial to pin down what James Ressler points out. Every single one of these deaths chronologically aligns with stages of Dvorkin's social, academic, or career advancement. On top of that, these men weren't strangers to him. They were his mentors and patrons. Because of their close and prolonged interaction with him within educational and church environments, these were figures who were in a position to see right past his social mask. They could observe his true personality traits, including those pathological and deviant patterns we've been unpacking today. What gives this even more weight is how Dvorkin himself describes these deaths in his memoirs. Ressler specifically highlights this phrasing, quote, a feeling of a specific presence, a visitation from God, a culmination, an achievement, a victory, unquote. If we look at this through the lens of narrative analysis, using the word victory in the context of death of someone close to you comes across as a highly atypical effective marker. It points to a very specific, unusual emotional connection to the event of death itself. In research studies, reactions like this are viewed as potentially linked to perceiving another person's death in one of three ways: as the removal of an obstacle, as a validation of one's own power, or as a manifestation of deeply identifying with the role of someone who holds the power to decide the fates of others. So, based on the materials we've analyzed, we've pinned down his psychobiographical trajectory. A childhood spent in a pathological family environment, initial acts of violence in the 9th grade, drug addiction, work in the ICU, where fatal manipulations involving drugs are performed on helpless patients, emigration to the US, building a brand new social and ideological identity, and a series of deaths among his mentors. If we follow the logic proposed by James Ressler, a mechanism well known in behavioral analysis begins to emerge. Once a predator exhausts the opportunities of their current environment, they change their location, but not their internal structure. In this interpretation, the American phase acts as a sort of incubator for Dvorkin. It's exactly where he acquires what he lacked before: a respectable mask of a theologian, an institutional vocabulary, ideological cover, and exposure to an environment where the practice of forced deprogramming was pitched as a fight for salvation.